everyone, and welcome to Chic Chats. I am Jeanette Ipapo-Tuason, the co-founder of Tuason Racing and author of Chic Driven, and we are here to give you your best life in bullet points.
Welcome to the Women in Mobility episode of Chic Chats. Today's episode will bring Chic Driven or Chic Chats to its motoring roots. As you all know, we started as a motoring column in the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Today, we have two guests from the motoring industry who will talk about the trends and what we can find or can look forward to in 2021.
Joining us today is one of the strongest female voices in the motoring industry. She has been with the biggest car manufacturing company in the world since 2003. She has held positions both locally and abroad. Today, she holds the post of Vice President for Marketing Services of the Toyota Motor Philippines. Please welcome Ms. Elijah Marcial.
Hello,
Elijah,
Jen.
welcome. Hello, thank
Hi.
you for agreeing to be one of our guests today.
Of course, it's my great honor to be here. Thank you.
So how are things happening in Toyota now? Medyo post-pandemic na siya.
Well, you're witness to all the things we've been doing for the past, I don't know, how many months is it? 8, 9 months.
Yes,
You were very busy. We did a lot of things differently. You were witness to several of our product launches. And of course, we accelerated digitalization para we can continue to reach customers even in the safety of their homes. Basically, trying to make it more convenient and safe for our customers. But now that it's post-pandemic, the economy is, starting to open up
that's
gradually
right.
and safely. As the number one car company, we really want to lead this support to the government in opening the economy. So we
That's
want to
right.
show customers that it's safe. There's a safe way to go back to the dealers, and it's fun and it's enjoyable and safe.
That's right. No, just going a few let's just do a backstory. So during the pandemic, syempre people were not traveling, right? So did that affect the car sales in
Yes,
general?
definitely.
It
There
okay.
are two ways kasi to look at it. Of course, car sales was affected because financially, people were not certain of what's going to happen. And at the same time, of course, they want to prioritize the essentials. But
Mhm.
also, they looked at transportation as an essential kasi public transportation was suspended or even if it was gradually returned, they worry about their safety and the safety of their family. So while sales, yes, dropped, but eventually we see gradual increase because, especially for small, affordable cars,
Mhm.
yung mga dating nagko-commute, they started to consider, oh, I can buy naman pala a car and it's a safer way for me to travel. So both ways, transportation we think is still essential. So there's hope and positive thing in that.
We were talking to some industry people and they were saying that Toyota did different ways on making car ownership very easy, especially during the time of pandemic. And you were mentioning nga na, those who were on the fence on buying cars now were able to buy cars. What steps did Toyota make to make it more affordable or easier to own a car during the pandemic?
Yes, thank you for asking that. Kasi everyone will automatically think na you have to give big discounts, you have to drop the price. Of course, it's a given to try to make products as affordable as possible, but it doesn't stop there. There are things like offering more flexible financing packages. May iba kasi, okay, gusto nila lower down, but what about the monthly? May iba naman, gusto lower monthly kasi yun yung kaya ng budget nila at that time.
Mhm.
So we launched a lot of financing products actually. We have Balloon Payment Plus. Di yun masyadong uso sa Philippines, but actually in the States or in other countries, there's such kind of scheme. Meaning, so for Balloon Payment Plus, let's say you only pay for this value, tapos yung residual value you pay at the end of the term, which will result to monthly or lighter monthly payments for you. So madaming ganyang options that we offered, not focusing just on discount, but aside from discount, good financing products, and of course, yung value chain ng Toyota. So madami kaming free periodic maintenance up to 20,000 kilometers. We also have free insurance kasi we have Toyota Insure. And even
Yeah.
when you trade in your vehicle, recently we had unfortunately, madaming typhoon na
Yeah.
naka-affect sa atin. Even those na gusto mag-trade in for their flooded vehicles, we also offer trade-in support for them. Kahit na discount on parts or service.
Mhm.
Lahat ng pwede namin maisip to reach out to help customers kasi mahirap yung panahon eh. So the only thing
Yeah.
or the only way we can help is look at each compartment of vehicle ownership.
That's right. No, even us as one of your partners in our racing business, we also felt the support of Toyota during this times of hardship. No, so we really saw that you became partners not just during the fun times but also during the hard times, and we appreciate that. But you've been with Toyota for so long. 2003 first job mo, no?
Huwag na natin i-highlight, but yes.
But from that span of time, I wanted to ask you, how did it change in terms of, before women were not really considered as a market for the cars, with the ads are so male centric, but also the workforce, because it's a male dominated industry. How did it
Okay.
change customer wise and inside your organization?
Okay. Well, customer-wise, I guess Philippines is quite different from other Asian countries kasi we have deeply matriarchal roots at saka very Western tayo. So in that sense, perhaps yun nga, compared to other Asian countries, we recognize that women have the role of managing the household. Alam mo yan, mother.
Yeah,
And
mother.
di ba? They influence the purchase decision. But more so, Filipino women are empowered to have jobs, to have leadership position. They have their own income, their own bank account, and basically they can decide on their own. So yun yung, I think, very unique in Filipino women customers. Yan yung tinitignan natin sa ating customers for vehicles. But also, as you mentioned, internally in an automotive industry, very male-dominated. But
Yes.
TMP has always recognized the special trait of women in terms of making decisions. Actually, especially things that need siguro more compassion. I think ito yung strength of women. I've read nga somewhere that during the pandemic, those countries talaga that were able to act quickly are countries with women leader because they always decide with heart. So
It's
I
true.
would like to think that TMP have women leaders who always consider their decisions with heart and how it will impact our family. Kasi here in Toyota, talagang Toyota takes care of family. Family ang tingin namin sa team members namin. So I'm very
That's right.
fortunate.
That's right. Yes, sabi ng asawa ko, mas magaling daw mag-decide ng women pag crisis. Kasi whether tama sila or mali, tama pa rin sila, di ba?
Yun. Sakto.
So, did women's perception on cars change? Kasi let's say for example, men, the way they look at their cars are like how we look at our bags, they want to put the mags, it's very emotional and stuff. For me, I've always thought women perceive cars are more of a tool, 'di ba? Wala masyadong emotion. Did that change throughout the years?
Um, I wouldn't say walang emotion, but their emotion towards their car would always come from a place of love, I guess. Kasi if you're buying the car for yourself as a first-time car buyer, you'd always want to consider, is the size right for me? Is it fuel efficient? Kasi first car ko, then it has to be, it has to offer a lot of value. If you're coming from a place of a mother buying a vehicle for her kids, yung maghahatid ka ba ng kids sa school, di syempre gusto mo this car will be
Safe.
the safest place for your
Yes.
children while moving, di ba? So,
Mm.
siguro mas lumitaw lang tong mga things na to recently in terms of specifications, in terms of price or value for money. Ito yung mas nakikita namin na trend na nagiging vocal yung women customers about. So, they'll look for specs like gusto ko may back sensor or I want a reverse camera or gusto ko maganda yung music kasi kasama ko lagi yung mga anak ko. So gusto nila may magandang music yan. So those things, I think for women buyers, they always consider it with sino ba ang kasama nila sa kotse. So it's not the car itself as a tool, but buying it with the emotion or love ng sino bang makakasama nila dyan.
And how is Toyota capitalizing on this? Is this something that you guys see that will dictate the trends in the future, or or it's still something very Filipino?
Toyota's core DNA is respect for people, and it includes always listening to what our customers need and what our customers want. And although it's not uniquely Filipino, it is something innate in the Toyota DNA. So we all, parang ano siya although matagal yung development ng car, we always ask after launch, what do you think about this car? What do you need more? And we try to
Yeah.
incorporate that in the next change. So that's how we do it in Toyota.
So for some of our viewers who are not so not so good at car speak or not so familiar with car speak, it's different when you buy a Toyota kasi yung resale value niya is almost the same as buying brand new. Sometimes it's better to buy brand new kasi hindi mo mababa yung resale value. So I guess one of the values of Toyota is yung reliability. In terms of reliability, how does Toyota bank on this? Kasi I think worldwide you've known to be very reliable.
Okay. Yeah. Alam mo, with a lot of car brands na lumalabas ngayon, it's so hard to compete on just your brand name alone. But for Toyota, the product always speaks for the brand. It can never be separated. And we have years and years of reliability and quality to prove that. Madaming nagsasabi na, of course, product design, and having the latest is always nice to have, of course. But at the end of the day, you still want both good product and good design. Kung magbe-breakdown yung kotse mo in the middle of nowhere, tas wala kang dealer na mapagdadalahan, nakakatakot, di ba? So essentially, what we're offering with reliability is actually your peace of mind na
That's right.
tatagal sa'yo, papamana mo sa anak mo, sa apo mo. Tapos kahit
Yeah.
saan ka sa Pilipinas, merong Toyota that's going to take care of you. So that's the overall value actually of a
So
Toyota.
so for our viewers there, the women, diba? Is there such a service that Toyota offers, like the dealers na halimbawa nasiraan ka sa daan? Is there
Mm-hmm.
such a thing that you guys offer like that as well?
It's different by dealer, but of
Okay.
course you can always contact your Toyota dealer naman, and they will find ways on how to help you. It depends on the situation. But for Toyota, um, we always try to extend helping hand to our customers. So kung talagang for example, nung flood, I saw immediately that most of our dealers posted, kung flooded ka, these are the numbers that you can immediately contact. Or what should you do kung flooded ang vehicle mo? We can assume probably all our male customers would know how to do that. Pero pag female, anong
Yes.
gagawin ko? Hanggang bubong yung baha ko. So yun, those are the things that we can offer to our female
So
customers.
my last question is, let's say for example, ako, 'di ba? One of the things that women are, fear when they go to the casa is because they're not so familiar with the technology or the process. What is the best way? What's your tip to make sure na they will feel comfortable na tama yung charge sa nila or tama yung service na dapat gawin at kung something when they go to a Toyota dealership?
Well, definitely, lahat naman ng Toyota dealership will always be transparent in terms of the service. Importantly, first, they should set an appointment. No, we have digital technology na so that they can book their appointment online to make sure that when they arrive, maaasikaso kaagad sila. Ang normal problem or normal difficulty ng ating customers is the waiting time. Ayaw nating maghintay sila ng matagal pagdating nila sa dealer. So first set an appointment, and when you go there, there will be a Toyota representative to assist them naman. And actually, part of our SOP is for our service people to explain point by point anong nakalagay dyan sa kanilang billing or anong kailangan gawin about the car. And in Toyota dealerships, actually merong area doon where you can watch your car being serviced. And for sure, whenever they ask our Toyota partners on what's going to happen with their vehicle, anong kailangan gawin, they will be transparent about it naman. But it doesn't, kumbaga, it always helps to do pre-research about
Okay.
your car, especially if you're not very familiar. The wealth of information on the internet is available to everyone. So it's always best to know more about your car as much as possible.
That's great. So Elijah, what is something that we can look forward to in terms of from Toyota? Is there some promos? Alam naman mga girls, mahilig sa promos.
Oy, Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. And tuloy ang Pasko kahit ano pa ang pinagdadaanan natin ngayon. So there's a lot of customer promos being offered by Toyota now. So we currently have ongoing Christmas raffle. We're giving away as much as 10 million pesos that
Wow.
customers of new vehicles get a chance to win. So actually we're raffling off um, 10 per day for the next few days. And on top of that, we also have a service promo. Kasi as I mentioned earlier, we really want to encourage our customers to come back to the dealers as long as it is done in a safe way, and we have safety measures for everyone. If they bring their vehicle for a vehicle maintenance or service, they will also get free oil change, complimentary. So yan yung Christmas gift namin for everyone. We want to spread hope, so we're giving away raffle and through free service for everyone.
I actually like the Toyota cars that come with the UV light. So, okay, good, that's cool.
Oh, alam mo, those are yung when during this pandemic, no, ang one of the things that we quickly did was looking for things that will yung new things ba that will help customers during this time. Yung UV light at saka services like air filter or sanitation, yun yung one of the things that we quickly did. Usually, pinag-aaralan ng matagal, pero because we want to respond to what the customers need, nagkaroon ng UV light, nagkaroon ng back-to lens, free
Oh,
sanitation service.
that's right. It's a good, very good, very good product additions. If there's one great learning that you had this year, what is it?
For me, no, as a woman working in a male-dominated industry, I would always go back to my basic philosophy of being a human being for others. It's always it's always putting others at the center of what you are doing. At Toyota, we're not just here to sell cars or service cars. We're here to, as much as possible, preserve jobs of team members who rely on us so much, even if it was so difficult to do so during this time. We're here to lend cars or donate cars to frontliners at a time when public transportation was suspended. Even small things like putting some entertainment during our product launches, because we know that music is good for the soul, especially during dark times. So siguro what I learned most is whether it's a big thing or a small thing, it's in how we use our power to be beacon of hope for others. And I am fortunate enough to be in this position wherein I'm part of an organization that can do all these things for others.
If there's one tip for a person who wants to work in the automotive industry, what is the first thing you will tell them?
Um, I don't look at it as something that what I will do because I'm a woman, it's always for me, don't be afraid to speak your mind. Be brave. If you have something to say, then say it. If you fail, then you learn from it. But be brave, even if kung sino yung kaharap mo, as long as you're not stepping on anybody and you think what you're going to say has value and will help others, then just go ahead and say it.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask one last question. So, what can we expect from Toyota post-pandemic? Maybe next year. How does next year look like for Toyota?
Alam mo, this may sound cliche, but this is what we always tell our customers. Before pandemic, during pandemic, after pandemic, Toyota will always be here for them. So whether it's about making good, reliable cars or vehicles with value for money or affordability, or whether we're out to help communities in need, um, or even creating new mobility solutions. Toyota will always be here for them. Our vision really is to make the world a better place. And Akio Toyoda said it already. Toyota is transitioning from an automotive company to a mobility company. So Toyota next year we'll see a lot of new mobility solutions. So let's watch out for that. Of course, while still keeping our core reliable products and services.
Wow. Okay, I'm excited. Thank you so much, Elijah. Our second guest for today is another marketing expert. She started her career being part of the biggest international agencies such as McCann Erickson and Ogilvy before jumping into client side. Today, she is part of the dynamic group behind the country's biggest homegrown and fastest growing petroleum company. Let us welcome the Vice President on Brand Integrated Marketing of Phoenix Petroleum Philippines. Please welcome Ms. Celina Matias.
Hi,
Hi, Ms.
Janet. Hi, Janet.
Hi.
It's good to see you on at least online.
Yes, thank you for joining us. So, today we're doing the special edition episode of Chic Chats for the Manila International Auto Show, and we wanted to get your experience, the wealth of your experience. So, we'll start with with this. You have an extensive marketing experience. What for you was the biggest change in terms of marketing for women?
The biggest change, I think, is the fact that in the past, when we used to do marketing campaigns, I noticed they were very gender specific. So if you have a masculine product, obviously the messaging and the target will be, the male audience. So it was a feminine, they just really consider it for female audience. But through the years, I noticed that there was a big change, and I think that has a lot to do with the shifting roles of men and women. Women becoming more empowered, women having equal opportunities, of course, decision making capabilities. So I noticed that campaigns were more gender neutral compared to being gender specific. So now, if you do campaigns, you always have to think of it should be relevant and it should be appropriate for both the male and the female audience. There's a lot of equality and inclusivity. So another observation I had also is in the past there was like idealized portrayal of women that it was always concentrated only about being beautiful. So being beautiful is defined as being fair, being sexy, being always perfect. But I think through the years that has also changed because they are now focusing on more positive images. And now they celebrate women regardless of your shape, your size, your color, and even your status. Like I've seen campaigns wherein they celebrate single parenthood. And this observation, I think, is even already crossing over to the runaway. So you see fashion designers now using more realistic models as opposed to before that you have to have like a perfect look or a perfect beauty. And so what is the impact on that on women? I think we feel better about it. There's more acceptance. Unlike before that, it's not relatable. It's like I
Yes.
always have to say I have to look this good for me
Yes,
to actually appreciate me. So
that's right. I also experienced that during my younger days. I used to do commercials also. Pero nung panahon ko, ang uso nun, mestiza lang. That's why we were just cookie cutter mestizas. Anyway, Miss C, you're now part of one of the biggest or the homegrown, fastest growing petroleum companies in the Philippines. Lumalaban ka na dun sa mga big petroleum companies. What was your marketing strategy for Phoenix before pandemic?
The marketing strategy before pandemic actually was very, very aggressive, because our thrust was to become a credible alternative in all the categories that we were competing. So we were doing heavy advertising. We had billboards. We had a lot of TV commercials. We even had a lot of social media. So we're doing all the mediums together because we wanted actually to get people to be aware of our brands, get to understand our brands, and of course, get to patronize it.
How did this change during the pandemic? Because syempre, before it was touchy-feely, now hindi na pwede yung touchy-feely. How did you guys do it?
After the pandemic, there was a lot of changes in the way we were doing things. I think first order of the day was really to move into the digital space. So a classic example of that was in the past, we would normally do a lot of these on-ground activities and on-track, but immediately
Yes.
we had to shift our activities for the fuel into the e-gaming or the e-racing. Same thing with our Phoenix Super LPG, which normally would be an on-ground activation. We had to do also our Calderoque, which was an
Okay.
online and cooking showdown.
So I see a different no. You were talking about the gender bias of marketing, right? But do you see that applies during nag-digitize kayo nung esports and nag-digitize kayo nung Calderoque, or still gender neutral siya?
Actually, it was still gender neutral because, like now for e-racing, you notice that actually it's not just really the males who are actually joining. You saw a lot of actually application from women, and even that Calderoque, I was actually surprised that it was not only the female who were joining our cooking and singing showdown. We actually had also a lot of male contestants. I mean, there was an equal balance of male and female contestants.
So, would you say that this experience, going into the digital races and doing the digital karaoke online, was this more for brand building, or it was really something that pushed sales? Because at the end of the day, how
Um,
important is brand building in times of crisis?
Okay. I'll answer your question first. How important is brand building in terms? In times of crisis? For me, crisis is an endurance test for all brands, and I think brands who are perceived to help people are those who are able to bounce back faster. So, for one, I think people love to see that you are compassionate as a brand, so you have to help people. So, here you offer probably programs or discounts that will perhaps help people in times of needs. Like we came up with this bangon negosyo, wherein it allows people to start up a business, but it is really discounted. We came out with
Okay.
activities for drivers wherein there were fuel discounts or they were able to redeem some of their points to for free products. And I found out
Free
that
products. Wow.
yes, because we had this program which is the Pinoy Chopper Card, wherein you accumulate points.
Okay.
So we came up with a program wherein we actually reduce the points.
Mm-hmm.
We actually reduce the number of points that you need to avail of a free product.
It's big help kasi at the end of the day, when people are not traveling so much, pero some of our kababayan needs to have businesses pa rin, 'di ba? They probably shifted into, delivering stuff and goods. So these are the ways that Phoenix responded in times of crisis. You were telling us this the points, lowering the points for your chuper program, and then for the Calderoque. What other things did you guys do to respond to the needs of your customers?
The program, the e-gaming and the Calderoque were actually programs that were actually done to actually make people, entertain people, inspire
Okay.
people. because it is something that
That,
they can do at home. So
that's
we know
right.
that
Much
a lot of
needed.
our customers were actually at home. So we thought, let's come up with programs wherein, even at their home, we can actually connect to the customers. So aside from
That's
helping
right.
people, it's like these are programs that help inspire them. These are programs that
Okay.
help them cope with the situation.
Mhm.
So we provide some kind of entertainment. Yeah, I'd like to share with you some of the the stories that came out from the Calderoque. A lot of them lost their jobs when they're actually working abroad. Well, some of them lost their jobs here. So when they heard about this cooking and singing showdown, they said, "Hey, might as well join." And we had contestants from across the country, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and they were so happy because aside from the fact that they're able to entertain people, and if they make it to at least the semifinals, they get something either through cash or kind.
So, Miss C, what do you think is your greatest learning for this year? For somebody that you know that does marketing, what was your greatest learning this year personally?
I had a lot of learnings this year, but maybe talk about the more important learnings. One is you have to adapt to change very quickly. Like I said, in the early part of the year, we actually had a different strategy, a different plans, but somewhere after the pandemic, after 1 month, I said we couldn't do a wait and see attitude. We had to adapt, and we have to move into the digital space as fast as we can, even to digital transformation, which we weren't doing quite heavily in the past. Another important learning was really authenticity. You just have to be yourself, and you just have to identify the space, because there is a tendency for some marketers to actually copy what their competitors are doing. But in the end of the day, at the end of the day, it is not them. So you just have to find what is that space that your brand occupies, who is your brand to your consumers, and you do things which is aligned to that brand image. If you want to succeed in this business, I think it's very important that you're hardworking. You know your competitors, you know the space that you're competing in, and you have to be willing to adapt and change your strategy as soon as you can, depending on the market forces around you. So it takes a lot of hard work, takes a lot of determination, because everybody has actually have an opinion of what you're supposed to be doing.
Thank you so much, ladies, and so much learnings. And we appreciate that you gave us your time and, of course, your knowledge and experience with us. So, just to summarize, here are our learnings from this episode, and of course, in bullet points. The first one: focus on how you can help others, whether it's a product or service that provides a solution to somebody. So, you need to make sure and focus on what they need. Second, use your power or your influence to be a beacon of hope. Third, be authentic. Don't just copy or what you see from your competitor or in the internet. And lastly, learn who you're talking to. As a marketer or a brand, you need to know who you cater with, because at the end of the day, you cannot provide or you cannot please everybody. Please follow Chic Driven on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe on our YouTube channel called Chic Driven TV. Don't forget to hit that notification bell to keep you updated on our latest happening, and tune in to Chic Chats every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Once again, this has been Jeanette Ipapo-Tuason, and this is your best life in bullet points.